And I left.
How long were you out there as in the Navy?
I joined in 2000, December 19th, 2007. It was my first day of boot camp. Um, I was in boot camp until February the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
They let me come home for a couple weeks before I went to my training, which was in Pensacola, Florida. That was April 24th, 2008. And then after that, I went to my ship, my first command, which was USS Carl Vinson. We was in Newport News, Virginia.
Wow.
And so my length of time, I did 4 years, 4 year enlistment.
Um, you have got to, if you can, describe it to me as vivid as you can.
Man.
What was it like being on that? I can only see, when I see the pictures, I'm in awe. What was it like stepping on the ship, this big, huge
It was huge. It was a very
island like?
it was a very large ship. Like I say, I didn't really know nothing about military other than what the stories my dad was telling me.
Yeah.
And now you talking about Navy.
Mm-hmm.
So you talking about I'm on this huge ship, And matter of fact, I'm gonna take you back a little bit. So when I was in my training school, they tried to send me straight to deployment right after my training, and I'm like, nah, I don't know if I'm ready yet. Like, and because they was currently on deployment, and so they talking about they would have flew me all the way into whatever ocean they was, just flew me onto the ship, and I just start work. I'm like, I need to ease into this now. And so I chose a ship that was gonna be in the shipyards for a little while, so I could just get adjusted to being in the military, let alone Navy. And so, like you were saying, what was that moment? So, me walking to this base or no the shipyards, I'm like, man, this is a huge ship. Like this is an actual warship. Like dang, like it was just crazy being on there, just looking around, like man, it's unfamiliar territory.
Yeah.
Like it was really crazy. It was mind boggling.
Yes.
It was all of that.
Would you say there were approximately 5,000 give and take?
5,000 plus people on the deployment. You got squadrons coming on and off. Squadrons are the people that work on the jets and the planes and the helicopters and so off roughly give or take by 5,000 plus people.
So you were able to see firsthand the airplanes landing.
That was my job. So I was on the flight deck. Flight deck is the top part. So we talking about an aircraft carrier for those who want to look it up. So on top of an aircraft carrier, the main job is to launch aircrafts, and so that was my actual job, was to launch aircrafts.
Whoa!
So we talking about connecting the aircraft to the catapult and shooting it off. So I had to learn all of the operations. I had to do all of the jobs in charge of launching an aircraft off of the flight deck.
Woo!
You talking about, they say it's one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, and it was scary at times. I mean, because I've seen videos of people getting sucked up into the intake. Yeah, and so I mean, and I was right there underneath the jet, that's about to take off and it was at full, throttle, but that was how we had to connect the aircraft to the catapult using a holdback bar.
Whoa. Okay.
It's a lot that goes into
That's
it.
scary.
It's a lot that goes into it.
And you still wanted to do that responsibility, or you didn't have a choice?
I did not. I did not have a choice. When you ask me the question that I want to, so I wanted to do my security job that they put me in temporarily, because the schedule was great. I had a great schedule. You talking about 8 on, however much off, on deployment, and I was just chilling. I had side hustles. I was cutting hair, so I had a lot of time to do other things. But when I was actually doing my actual job, so the actual title was aviation boatswain mate.
Wow.
So when I was actually doing that job, you talking about 20-something plus hours a day, every single day.
Oh man, so you couldn't even get tired because that could literally cost you your life.
Exactly.
All right. And of course, we won't touch on this interview, but we'll definitely touch on some things that you saw and experienced on the boat.
Of course.
That was history in the making.
Of course.
Okay. So this is November.
Mm-hmm.
I know we want to definitely acknowledge and recognize the sacrifice, strong veterans. And then you have a song on your album called "Activated."
That's right.
By Jayprice, featuring. Excuse me. Hold on. I'm gonna edit. So you have a song on here on the Leaving W.O.R.K For Kendra album.
Yes.
And it's called "Activated," featuring Jayprice.
Yes.
Who is Jayprice? Before we get to the song "Activated."
Jayprice, that's my boy. So we worked together, and
Where?
I'm sorry, we worked together in the military. His job, so he did a similar job. He was on the flight deck as well. We just know each other just from passing by within the berthings, and we used to freestyle with each other. We had sessions and stuff, and so I put him on one of my previous mixtapes back then, and this was like 2010, I think. So I had him on a mixtape back then, and so when I thought of this song, I'm like, man, I gotta get somebody that was in the military with me to be on this song with me. And he was the first person that came to my mind. I'm like, man, I know we ain't did, and I hit him out, I'm like, man, I know we ain't did music in a minute, but hey, this song right here, I need you up on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's still in. I want to say he reserved, I think, but he's still in. He's still in the military.
Okay.
And so so I knew it was gonna touch him, and it's called "Activated" because, you know, if it calls for it, I can get activated.
Okay.
I can get activated.
Is that a military term?
That is a military term, and I think it's starting to be normal slang too.
Mm-hmm.
But they use it in a different way.
How so?
So they say, like when you talking about somebody getting mouthy with you or something,
Mm-hmm.
you know, somebody, I can get activated now. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to activate me, and they talking about, you know, so I can get strapped up and, you know, go to war if you want. And so I use it the same way, but it's in the same. It's one and the same.
Okay.
You know, because we talking. So in the song, I'm talking about, you know, because the Ukraine war happened.
Yeah.
And that's when I first started writing it. When the Ukraine and Russia war happened, and now we got the, you know, Israel, you know, going to war. Right. And so.
Hamas. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I just find it so fitting now. Also, you know.
What does activated mean in military terms, for those who are not familiar? So if we say, are you activated or would you be activated, what are we asking? I mean, break it down.
Right. So, like I said, I did 4 active years in the military.
Gotcha.
And then I went reserve.
Okay.
I was inactive.
Mm.
If World War III would have broke out, they would have activated me.
Gotcha.
I would have got back activated.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
And is that what the song is talking about?
That's what that song talking about. That, but I put it in a way, I say, because I feel like I'm past the time that I can get I don't think I can get activated no more, like from the government standpoint. But I put it in a way because us veterans, we feel a certain type of way that sometimes it's our duty that we need to, you know, be within wars and whatnot, you know, to protect our love, to protect the country, this and that. Like sometimes we feel like we need to be over there fighting sometimes. So I feel like veterans gonna feel me when I say, you know, with wars that, you know, what if another world war break out and, you know what I mean, we want to be able to be within it, to hold our own and, you know, protect our country. So I was making a statement, like, I know, you know, I'm married now, just had a baby girl.
Right.
I know I'm a family man now.
Right.
But if God wants me to get activated, then I can get activated.
Amen.
I ain't scared. You know, if God make that call.
Okay.
It gotta be him though. Can't be the government, it gotta be him. If he make that call, then I can get activated.
It also sounds like it's in you though. Like it's in you to
protect.
To protect. Right.